And it is an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you so much for joining us live and or watching the recording later on. We always look forward to our weekly time to connect. We want to make sure that all of you know of our amazing resources. So if you have not checked out our team website, please look for ongoing essential oil education, business education, and the recordings to these calls on hellovisionary.life. We've been at this for 10, 12 years. So we have literally, I don't know, maybe thousands of hours at this point of education that is there for you to dig into. So please take advantage of that resource. This is our Wednesday team call that is at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And today we have very special guest, Lindsay Bodo, who will be talking to us more about the Aromatouch technique. Next week will be another first of the month. And so this is where we ask all of you to bring your tips, your pearls, and your wisdom on whatever our monthly specials are. So we won't know that for a couple more days, but please come with any ways that you like to use the products that will be highlighted in May. May 11th, you do not want to miss this call because we are going to have Dr. Mika Unplugged, and that will be a treat and lots of nuggets and jewels and wisdom to be shared. And then on May 18th, we are going to talk about the amazing magic of convention and why we hope all of you can join us live in Salt Lake City this year. And May 25th, we just had to change that topic, so we will announce that next week. We want to give you an idea of all of the events that we have going on because we realize sometimes it can be hard to keep track of all of it. So put these things on your calendar so you always know that they're happening, especially if they apply to you and your business. We're very grateful to Lindsay and Nikki who host a weekly work party Mondays at 4. You can tune in on Zoom and do your Doterra work and get the support from community and team. And then every Tuesday at 5:30 Pacific time, we have an Intro to Doterra Essential Oils class. I'll share a little bit more about that on the next slide. And then, of course, every Wednesday at 10 a.m. is our team call. And then please attend the Doterra Empowered Success trainings. And in fact, the one that's going to be on Monday is also going to be about Aromatouch with Dr. Hill. So it's perfectly timed to piggyback onto the topic that we have today. And there is a reason why we're really kind of re-emphasizing and re-educating about the Aromatouch because there's some exciting new announcements with that. And then Ariana hosts the Oils A to Z live call on the third Mondays of every month at 10 a.m. And her with Doctors Mika, Will Wan, and Louise Rose all do a deep dive into one particular oil. So it's a really good way to get a deeper understanding on the physical, spiritual, and emotional planes of each oils. Okay, I know we have a lot of announcements. So on May 3rd, Peggy Washburn will be teaching the Intro to Oils class. And then Dr. Josie will be teaching on May 10th. So we just like to let you know who our upcoming teachers are for this. And please take the opportunity to promote all of this on your social media, share with friends and family, and then show up to the class with your guest. It's a really wonderful offering. We also have our spring wellness education series, and we are almost done with it. We're kind of over halfway. Peggy Washburn is going to be teaching about sleep, stress, and emotions this coming Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And the Eventbrite link there on the bottom to register for that. And if that time is not great for you, you can also tune in on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this coming today is the essential skincare. Is that right? Am I on the right date? I always get confused when we move from dates to date. Yeah, the essential skincare. And this is taught by the Butterfly Collective team. Okay, and again, raise your hand if you've already committed to going to Salt Lake City. It is September 14th through the 18th. Tickets go on sale May 18th. It is very likely that this will sell out quickly. So if you do want to go, you have plenty of time to plan. Please get your tickets. As of now, there will not be live streaming. That may change, but as of now, that is not being offered. Right now, they're telling us it will only be live in Salt Lake City. So we really do hope that you can join us. We are going to have a wonderful team gathering. We hope to hang out with all of you by the pool and give you all really big hugs. And I might even give you a few kisses if you're lucky, just because I'm going to be so happy to see all of you. Okay, so jumping into today's topic, we are going to be hearing from our beloved Lindsay Bodo. She is a licensed massage therapist in both Oregon and Washington, and she is very skilled. She also does cranial sacral work, among many other modalities. She is a wealth of information, and she is an incredible healer. And she is, of course, one of our visionary leaders and is a Doterra Gold. And she has a lot of and practical experience with the Aromatouch. She also attended the training recently with Dr. David Hill. And so she's going to talk about the what, the why, and then also how to implement this into your business model. So Lindsay, I'm going to stop my screen share, and then I'm going to allow you to share your screen and pass the call over to you. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry
There
about
you
that.
go.
Technical
No worries.
difficulties. There'll be just a moment here. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I get this on a screen where I'm going to be able to see it too. So, okay. I think I can do this. Let's do this. Perfect. PowerPoint. From beginning. Thank you for your patience with me here. So, for those of you who had the great pleasure of joining us at Doterra's leadership event, whether it was virtual or not, so many of us just had our hearts beat harder and just that moment of yes when this slide came up. Because at the core of it all, what is Doterra's mission? Well, it turns out it's to help the world heal. And I have received so much support in my own healing journey, thanks to our wonderful doTERRA team, our community, our education, the products themselves, and pursuing what's pure, both in terms of relationally, how we're sourcing the products, earning right livelihood. It all comes together in this wonderful, neat package that we call doTERRA, where we have a product opportunity, a community, and a business for those who want it, right? So, coming together today, let's talk about the Aromatouch and how it really is the place to start. What we're going to cover today in our first section, focus on customer care and really understanding the product, is the power of our own personal experience. What is the Aromatouch technique? The intention behind providing Aromatouch, which oils are included and why, and who benefits. So jumping right in, I want to acknowledge my dear friend, Sandra Rose. She's the owner of Handcrafted PDX. And the reason that I'm here sharing with you today is actually because Sandra came and joined our doTERRA community, a thirst for knowledge and wanting to have her own experience and saying, hey, let's do this. Show me what you've got. Like, what else is available? She's found huge value in things like the lifelong vitality and using Dr. Hill's daily oil protocols. And when she heard that there's something called the Aromatouch technique, she really wanted to learn what it's all about. So the reason I ask, what do you want to experience, is because we're all here for a reason, right? We're here to learn. We're here to grow. We're here to form friendships and really soak in our knowledge of what's possible. Particularly, why does what's possible matter? Well, if you've been feeling low energy, if you've been having digestive issues, if you've been having something like back pain, maybe you want some relief, right? I think we all come together because we want to feel better in mind, body, spirit, financially too. We want the opportunity to heal and to really feel empowered in our own lives and to help those we care about as well. So if you really want to absorb everything that doTERRA has to offer, you're going to want to know about the Aromatouch technique, and you're going to want to show up to events like this to learn. Now, circling back to Sandra, she and I actually drove 5.5 hours up to Bellingham, Washington to be in person with Dr. Hill himself. This picture here in the bottom right was Dr. Hill on stage right in front of us. There was no Zoom used here. Like, it was pretty amazing. So I do want to acknowledge that some of my slides today, the pictures are a little fuzzy just because I actually used slides from Dr. Hill's own presentation. So moving right along. What is Aromatouch and why do we use it? Well, Dr. Hill, who's one of the founding executives of doTERRA, he was actually the original chief medical officer for doTERRA, the chief scientist figuring out like what are these oils, what are their key properties and benefits, what's the science behind them, and how do we get them out to the people to be used in a knowledgeable way. And in the first year or two that Dr. Hill was creating doTERRA and working with doTERRA, everyone started coming to him being really excited about the magic in these little brown bottles that they knew on an instinctual level could help transform lives. And yet they didn't know necessarily how to use them or what to use them for. So people would approach him being like, hey, Dr. Hill, my mom has migraines, or hey, Dr. Hill, my friend is paraplegic, or hey, Dr. Hill, like I've got a toe infection or a staph infection or a sore throat. Like, what do I do? And he was getting completely bombarded with questions of where to start and what protocol to use. And so he realized, how do we make this simple? How do we make it accessible? And how do we get the most good out of every drop of oil? And what he realized is that all health comes back to some key variables for our body to be able to self regulate. When our body is self regulated in something known as homeostasis, when our stress response is regulated, when our immune system is supported, when we're having a moderated inflammatory response and our body is able to heal and process well, we actually are able to heal and be well. Disease sort of melts away when the body is self regulated. It's when we are stressed and such that we actually end up really sick. In fact, I personally was astounded in massage school. There was a reference guide that we had for pathologies, meaning illnesses. And when we read this pathology book, we had to memorize like each of these different conditions from things like sore throats to sprained ankles and everything else. And what was the number one risk factor on literally 95% of conditions represented in this book? I'll tell you, it was stress. So being able to resolve stress and moderate our body's response allows us to be that much healthier all the way around. So Dr. Hill came up with this one size fits all protocol, and I don't say that lightly. This protocol is actually appropriate for just about everybody. Now, there will be some exceptions if you are straight up allergic to one of the oils included, if you are a pregnant mom or a nursing mom, or you're on insane levels of blood thinners or something. You're probably going to want to work with your doctor and see what's appropriate for you. But overall, this protocol is appropriate for most bodies. So when Dr. Hill developed it, he really wanted to address some key factors here. And the intention behind the Aromatouch technique was to help the body balance itself. So Dr. Hill's like, okay, what aspects of health can we measure? What are some constants that need to be there to represent good health? And he realized we should look at stress because, again, it's the key for all body function. And we should look at immunity, a cytokine response in particular, and we'll get to that. We should look at inflammation, as you've probably heard Dr. Josie and the others talk about. The two things that break down our bodies on a cellular level are inflammation and oxidative stress. And we should look at homeostasis, the capacity for the body to be in balance with itself and to continue to function well. So these four variables are called systemic constants. And when Dr. Hill was looking at like, okay, how can we address these systemic constants? What body systems do we want to support? And what kind of impact do we want to have on a cellular level? He was looking at body chemistry, the endocrine system for hormonal balance, neurological response, all these different variables that he wanted to build into the Aromatouch technique. So he went through a lot of different pairings of oils. He decided he wanted 2 oils for each body constant or systemic constant. And at the time that he developed Aromatouch, which was a good solid 12 years ago now, um, balance and lavender ended up being the most 2 impactful oils when it came to reducing stress and balancing the nervous system. Now, he's mentioned as well, adaptive these days would be great. Copaiba, there's so many we can use, right? But for the sake of Aromatouch, let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to these wonderful oils we've had since the beginning, using balance for grounding, lavender for calming. When in doubt and you want to calm the body, you're going to want to connect with nature. And you can remember that tree oils are going to be grounding and centering. Florals are going to be super calming. I think of floral oils like being a down comforter, just kind of snuggling in and getting ready to rest. And that's how the Aromatouch technique starts. We start with balance on the back, over the back of the heart chakra, lavender, including the back of the ears, to really soothe and settle in. In terms of supporting immune function, Dr. Hill chose tea tree and on guard through so much testing on a cellular level, petri dishes, all sorts of good things. He discovered that tea tree and on guard were going to be highly supportive for our immune system. In fact, herbs and spices have been used for millennium for their antiviral and antimicrobial properties. If you think about spices in the olden days, they were used to even preserve meats and things to stop them from going bad. So in this case, we're getting to anoint our bodies with tea tree and on guard, the protective blend. When it comes to moderating an inflammatory response, what does that mean? Well, whenever your body is undergoing stress, any kind of biffs, boffs, bruises, things like kayaking with us last week, right? Where you're really working hard, your body is going to heal itself. And part of that healing process means creating some inflammation to bring all sorts of resources to the inflamed tissue. In fact, inflammation calls in things like osteoblasts and fibroblasts. We don't need to get too nerdy here, but suffice it to say our body's healing itself. That being said, while a little inflammation is helpful, sometimes our body goes overkill and creates a lot of inflammation. And that's when we experience pain. So, being able to use oils, including topically, to help regulate and say, hey, body, we got this. It's good. You don't need to be quite so inflamed, helps. In fact, we know that we're struggling with inflammation if an area is hot, swollen, or painful. So, who do you know who lives with pain? These oils and the Aromatouch technique can be really, really soothing and highly beneficial. Especially, we've heard some amazing stories with things like back pain, people who've been in situations such as car accidents and their bodies are revved up and they just need some healing and some soothing and some support on that cellular level. Now, when it comes to creating homeostasis, what does that mean? We're looking at the balance for our body systems. It's an equilibrium. It's not a set point, but rather a continuum of a reference range where our bodies can function well. And Dr. Hill discovered that no 2 oils are a more powerful combo for both helping us with rest and digest and supporting an alert and energized state. That balance between the parasympathetic of rest and digest and the sympathetic of alert and ready to go and ready to protect ourselves. So, in the Aromatouch technique, we not only apply the oils to the full back sequentially, 1 oil at a time, but after we've applied that balance in lavender, the tea tree and on guard, the Aromatouch in deep blue, we come to the feet and we do some reflexology like treatment, working with the zones of the feet with both peppermint and wild orange. And then to finish, we bring the wild orange and peppermint back up to the back, really helping kind of marinate the body in the goodness of the oil. So those are the 8 oils included. Now, the Aromatouch technique was developed to maximize the health benefit of essential oils. Remember how I said he wanted every drop to like do its most good? So in this way, it was discovered that to make the most of every drop, you want to massage it in because that helps maximize the potential. In fact, and this is a direct quote from Dr. Hill, that when blood flow and neurological tissues are excited, the essential oil absorption is enhanced. Also known as if you gently massage and kind of work, do petrissage, effleurage, whatever it is, those are some massage terms, but like manually manipulate the tissue, it helps the oils absorb. So, what is the actual technique? Well, that you get to learn from Dr. Hill himself, and we have some exciting announcements coming up around that. But the Aromatouch technique utilizes known visceral contact points and body meridians by administering organized technique patterns. So, what does this really mean? There are some patterns of movement, including long strokes up the back, beautiful strokes off the side of the body, really bringing this pattern of repetition that soothes and centers the nervous system as well. And this technique can be provided on a massage table, it can be provided on a bed, it can be provided on a yoga mat on the floor. I personally tend to use it on a massage table. I happen to have four because I love bringing people together to even do clinics around this together. So, what's the science here? Like, we can make all these claims like, oh, homeostasis and the nervous system and the immune system, but like, how do we measure that? Dr. Hill wanted to make sure that he was not just going on what he thought might work, but actually did some clinical trials. And the results were pretty amazing. In fact, before we get to the results, let's cover his hypothesis. The hypothesis was that the Aromatouch technique would have an effect on parameters related to both anxiety and stress, the immune system, inflammation, and homeostasis. And how did he propose to measure this? Well, C-reactive proteins, cytokines, cortisol, and immunoglobulin. So, what does that actually mean? The C-reactive protein is working with looking at homeostasis and how's the body functioning. The cytokines are a reflection of a inflammation in the body. In fact, if you've been hearing in the news about things like cytokine storms, that's the body being so inflamed that it's not functioning very well anymore. Cortisol is one of our stress hormones that's fairly easily measured, and looking at immunoglobulin A for immunity as well. So, what were the results here? Well, get this. Immediately after the first Aromatouch session, the treatment group experienced decreases in heart rate, mean arterial pressure, and anxiety scores. And there's also a significant decrease in salivatory cortisol, meaning that their heart rates came down and their cortisol levels, their stress levels came down. Here's where it gets even better. The results of the long term effects, this was for people receiving Aromatouch weekly. The long term effects was that even 3 weeks after they were no longer receiving Aromatouch, there was a significant reduction in C reactive protein and diastolic blood pressure. There was also a reduction in all four cytokines tested. Wow. So basically, the inflammation was less, the blood pressure was less, the bodies were functioning better. Now, here's where it gets really good. Not only is the person receiving the Aromatouch technique, because yes, as you can imagine, it's hard to apply oils to your own back. This is really best done providing for a loved one. Not only is our loved one going to feel better in their body, but every time we get to provide this treatment, we feel better too. Because guess who's busy absorbing the oils through their hands and aromatically from being in the room as well? We are. So this is quite the treat. And if you're starting to have more questions like, okay, so I get that this might be a great modality, but like, who's it for? How many drops do I use? How long does it take? All these kinds of questions. Let's go through them one by one. First of all, this treatment is appropriate, again, for just about all bodies. Sure, if you're working with an infant, you might want to dial it back and just try things out one oil at a time before you ever put them all together. But you'll notice in the Essential Oils and Babies book by midwife Stephanie Fritz that balance and lavender can be used on infants literally from the time of birth. Deep Blue and Aromatouch, even in moderation, can be used too. So you're going to want to dilute heavily if it's a small person, and probably just use 1 drop of each oil. And again, if somebody is a little bit on the older side with thinner skin, you can use less oils. So how many drops? Well, again, it depends on size of body, age, the type of skin, but probably 1 to 6 drops of each oil. For a healthy body that's used to oil consumption, I would say 4 to 6 drops of oil is going to be great because this is meant to be powerful and impactful. It's meant as an intervention. How long does it take? About 45 minutes for the full protocol. How do you learn the technique? We'll get to that, I promise. And how often should this technique be applied? In truth, it depends on context. If somebody is undergoing an acute situation, say they're really feeling crummy, maybe you're going to give them an Aromatouch morning and night, or at least once a day for a few days straight. If they're in a stressful time of life and they just want some body support overall, probably once a week is good. And if somebody's rocking it on the self-care and everything else, once a month just for proactive well-being, it's great. How do you get the oils? Again, we'll get to that. So, regarding how you learn this technique, here's what is so gosh darn exciting. You still get to learn from friends, your upline, people who've been certified trainers. We have so many wonderful people on our team who are, including Dr. Josie, Christy, so many great people. And that being said, Dr. Hill was finally arm twisted into teaching the masses through an available online training that you can now take at your own pace online. This is taught by Dr. Hill himself, and you'll get all the techniques right the way they're originally meant to be. One of the challenges behind Aromatouch is that a lot of people over the years have claimed they're doing Aromatouch while busy making up their own thing. So it really is important that if we're going to call something a modality, if we're going to call it an Aromatouch technique, please stick to Dr. Hill's model because it really has been clinically refined and we want other people to feel that they can duplicate it too. You don't want confusion between what's being taught online and what you're doing for someone if you can avoid it. So if you need a refresher, even if you've taken in the past, it's available. In terms of how much the course is, it is at $97 on its own. You can get it through the Doterra website. You can also get it for free with your Aromatouch Training Kit, which we'll comment on here just in a minute. And then as you may have heard me hint, if you're already certified, can you take the online course without paying again? The answer is yes. Yay for that. That being said, you'll just need to work with an account manager, whether it's yours or your upline's account manager, to get the link to be able to take it for free. Again, if you've already been certified. So moving right along, the best way to get started is this brand new kit called the Aromatouch Technique Kit. And it includes all 8 oils that you need, including the reason I starred the deep blue here is get this. It is the only way to get a 15 ml bottle of deep blue. Yes, you heard that right. For the deep blue lovers out there, you know, it normally comes in a 5 ml. In this kit, it comes in a 15 ml bottle. That's over $90 value just for the deep blue alone. And you also have the coconut oil. Better yet, you will also get that $97 online training is bundled in and incorporated into this kit. You basically get it for free, taught by Dr. Hill himself. Once you purchase this kit, you'll get an email with online access for being able to take this training online. So pretty cool, right? And this whole bundle altogether is $250 as an enrollment kit, which also waives people's membership fee for a year when you are helping them first enroll. So this is an absolutely wonderful way to get started. We'll hope you take full advantage of it. Now, if you're like, okay, that's great, but I already have a lot of these oils and you just need to fill in the gaps, I recommend keeping in mind that some of doTERRA's collections and kits can actually bring down the price point of your oils and help you kind of rebuild and restock your kit as a whole. So, for example, with our wellness programs, you're probably familiar. The Mind and Mood Kit has a bottle of balance as one of the very first oils that comes. So, if you've been struggling with stress, exhaustion, overwhelm, and the like, starting with the Mind and Mood Kit to regroup and get your balance oil might be a great way to go. Or similarly, the immunity kits have things like On Guard and tea tree in them. So do look there. And then here's my personal favorite little recommendation, because what a price point for this, right? Did you know that doTERRA for many years now has had a small little collection called the Travel Kit? It is only $33 US dollars, and it contains 5 ml bottles of lavender, wild orange, peppermint, and Aromatouch. So if what you need are these little guys to be able to like throw in your purse and take with you and do an Aromatouch on the fly, definitely look at getting the travel kit too. So as a customer, what are your next steps? First, you can ask your upline, crossline, or dear friend to gift you an Aromatouch experience if you haven't received one yet. If you don't know a local person who's already trained in it, let your local massage therapist that you're already working with know that there's this amazing modality with an online training from Dr. Hill himself that they can take. They can incorporate these oils into their practice. Hey, maybe you work out a trade where you help them get the kit. You buy them the kit. In exchange, they're going to give you 3 Aromatouch sessions, right? Something like that. You can get creative here. So, and better yet, get the Aromatouch training certification and learn it yourself. And I personally challenge you to gift 5 to 10 of your friends and family sessions. Get these on the books. I really want to emphasize that this modality can be a wonderful way to feel great for ourselves and to strengthen relationships. We're all about community here, and we want to support relationships with great quality time, providing the acts of service of loving touch, which of course is in its own right a love language of touch too. Do you know how many people, especially friends who are single or not living alone without families, who just melt that I'm willing to rub their feet? They feel so good that I'm just willing to rub these oils onto their back because they've been missing touch this last few years. So this is a great way to love on your people. So I want to go ahead and pause here for just a moment and see any very quick questions from a customer perspective here, because we do have more content for you as well. But I was not able to see the chat. Aisha, is anything coming through that needs to be addressed?
I don't think so, Lindsay. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. And I really do want to stress how easy this technique is. And like, you can teach this to your children. I actually taught it to my niece, who at the time was around 10, and she would give me treatments, and it was a lovely way to connect with her. So please take advantage of this online training. I'm really excited because in the past, you actually had to go to an all-day course with a certified trainer, which was over $100 and took 8 hours to get certified in order to do the training or to do the practice. So now they're making it very, very accessible. If anybody has any questions, put them in the chat or come online, and then we'll move on to our next section.
Perfect. Love it. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all put into the chat. Aisha and the rest of these wonderful leaders are perfectly adept at answering your questions. And yes, to reinforce what Aisha said, Dr. Hill intentionally made this simple enough that a 10-year-old can do it. Like, that was his mission, because what he first discovered was he was bringing in all these different modalities and all these different super refined techniques, and he had notes. And he actually almost gave up on developing the Aromatouch technique. Why? Because he had Justin Harrison on the massage table, and he'd done little pieces of the Aromatouch, but he'd never done it all together. And he had notes laid out on Justin's legs, and they were so complex and so detail oriented that he couldn't even do his own technique. And so he's like, oh shoot, I can't do this. And in fact, it took Emily Wright coming in and saying, so I hear you're a quitter, before Dr. Hill put in the time and effort to simplify it down to where any of us could do it. So that was a pretty impactful story for me when I heard him present. But we'll go ahead and share here, because I do want you all to have the full value of what's possible.
Real quick, Lindsay, there is a question.
Yeah,
are they teaching the Aromatouch hand technique online? Do you know?
I know that there is a video that you can even get just on YouTube, I believe, for the Aromatouch hand technique. And that is a perfect question. We will be actually coming up to that here shortly as well, for our next section.
Perfect.
So I did want to say too, if you are a customer, a client of ours, and you love all the exclusive deals and all the good things, now is a time to dip your toe in the water and host an event for your friends. Have your upline come, have a crossline come, like, do this together. But Doterra has created some amazing, wonderful incentives for us, including the Yarrow Pump Body Serum, It's part of the gua sha kit as well. If you've never used this, it's so great. All you have to do is enroll 3 friends with a kit or even a build your own kit of over 100 PV, and you will be gifted the Yarrow Palm Body Serum from Doterra. Similarly, if you host and have 5 or more people enroll, you will get both Yarrow Palm and an exclusive rose mist. What's even better is if you love your friends and want them to have all the best deals too, those who are enrolling now through June with a 100 plus PV order and who make an LRP order the following month will actually get $50 worth of free product credit points attributed to their account. So this is the time to jump in and get excited about some sharing. So speaking of, we're transitioning here to talking about the Aromatouch Technique and Training Kit as support for the Doterra business opportunity. Please join us in the mission to help the world heal. And success is really simple when we create something duplicatable, right? So our objective as a whole here is going to sound pretty familiar. It's to be of support and in so doing become financially free, to create a market for these gifts of the earth. If you have yet to learn about co-impact sourcing and all the lives changed in terms of the farmers, the growers, the distillers, please go to source2u.com and learn about who are we supporting with right livelihood through bringing these oils to market. We also want to empower individuals and families with the tools to heal naturally. I think that will jive. And of course, we mentioned forming heartfelt relationships and establishing a long-lasting community. And not the least of which, model the potential of creating a residual income and the impact of earning right livelihood, specifically doing work we love. It's such a joy to be here with you all, and I'm glad that you're letting me share with you today. So when it comes to the Aromatouch and the business benefits, this is pretty brilliant because 3-in-1, we have a model of introduction. We really want to give people an experience that's gonna like blow their mind, right? And help their bodies feel better. Sure, it can be great to share a drop of peppermint at the right moment. Sure, digestion or breathe or lavender in the right context can be great. And is it inspiring enough to them to take action, to want to show up and learn, to want to like really understand how these oils work, and especially to want to get these oils into their life? With Aromatouch and these 8 oils, they will feel something. So by having them come get on your table, your yoga mat, wherever it is, and getting them thoroughly oiled up, the odds are much higher that they're going to be like, wow, what is that? I want to learn more. This is also a model of consumption. Using 5 to 6 drops of 8 different oils, we're talking over 30 drops of oil of treatment. You're going to help people go through their oils by using them. And it's a model of duplication. Again, this is simple. This is a place to start. Whether it's feeling crummy, like the immune system's struggling or the stress levels are struggling, you can always come back to the Aromatouch as the place to start and help people feel empowered. Now, keep in mind, simplicity sells, complexity kills, right? You may have heard it before, or keep it simple, sweetheart. So I'm really going to strive to keep it simple here for you today. We want to have a powerful experience. And it can be as simple as what I should just said, an Aromatouch hand technique. The Aromatouch hand technique, you use a single oil. It could be your rescuer roller. It could be an adaptive, a few drops of adaptive. And there's a very simple hand technique where we're kind of spreading out the tissue, rubbing the oils in, drawing the tension out of the hand. Sandra and I did this for each other up at Dr. Hill's event. It's like, wow, my whole hand, my whole arm, my whole body is so much more relaxed. So this can be enough to give them a taste. If you really want to have that full body impact, get them on a table, do a full Aromatouch session. It can be individually, it can be in a group context, and we'll go over that here. So most importantly, this is an opportunity for love and to show up and serve from your heart. From a business perspective, this is something that we get to offer that's new and special if you haven't done it yet. It can be translated into all 5 love languages. It can be a gift, right? It could be a gift certificate to come get an Aromatouch, something they win or rewarded with. It can be hands-on care of that loving touch. It can be quality time of getting together in person. It can be affirmation of how well somebody does the Aromatouch or how well they're relaxing and receiving. Really, whatever it is, you can work it in. And again, I can't drive this home well enough that new guests will have a well-oiled experience. So, who will you share with first? Jot it down. 3 names. Let's get started. Ways to share the Aromatouch and grow include doing events. Events allow for an efficient use of your time. You can teach multiple people at once. Friends can invite guests. This is key when we're wanting to network and bring in more people, right? We also want people to be able to feel part of something bigger than themselves. Model how fun it is to host, and you can book parties from parties. The advantages to the one-to-one relationship, if this is more your style, is it can be a mutually convenient time. The receiver can feel really cozy and safe. The full focus can be for them. You can really make them feel special, zoning in on this person and what their needs are, addressing their questions and concerns, and hopefully booking referrals as well. This slide came from Dr. Hill. His whole point is that we can talk to people all day long. He actually shared an experience of how he was trying to get oils into Vanderbilt University, and he was flying out east every month to have board meetings with this person and that person, and they've been having meetings for 18 months about trying to get oils into the hospital, and it wasn't really going anywhere. And then one of the directors of the emergency medicine department had a headache during one of the board meetings, and he's rubbing his temples. And Dr. Hill's like, yeah, you and me both, buddy, because Dr. Hill was feeling pretty frustrated too. But what happened? The nurse beside this guy with the headache pulled out a bottle of peppermint, quietly gave him a few drops, and told him to rub it into his scalp. This guy, a few minutes later, raised his hand and said, excuse me, but are these oils what we've been talking about? And Dr. Hill's like, yeah. And the guy's like, well, then we need this in the hospital stat. We're assigning this committee, and this is going to happen. And Dr. Hill's like, wow, we've been talking about for months. But even though they were using all the science and all the right jargon, it wasn't conveying the experience of the relief that can be had. So please, let's get out there and give people experiences, right? So one example of an outline for a really simple event that you can do is to welcome people. Make it a spa-like environment. Give them tea, make bath salts, snacks, give the opportunity to visit. There's a wonderful Brandon Wild video of how the Aromatouch technique can be so impactful. You can share your why, an introduction to essential oils. Again, screenshot this. We'll move through it kind of quick. But in terms of giving, you can keep it really simple and just do the hand technique, using the online video, having people do the hand technique for each other. And then, of course, here's the real key: schedule follow-up. Whether it's a wellness consult, opportunity to enroll, opportunity to have a tea date one-to-one, you want to connect with these people in an ongoing manner, and you want to ask for referrals. Again, this is the perfect time to even ask friends to host for you, customers to host for you, letting them know they'll get the Yarrow Palm and the Rose Serum Mist. This all fits together with that spa vibe, right? And rinse and repeat. This isn't something we do once, but that we do multiple times so that we can get the most oils on the most bodies. Here's an invitation script. Sometimes it's nice to know where to start, right? And have this laid out. This is an invitation script shared by Dr. Hill's team. This works. So the invitation reads, hey, so-and-so, I've just been thinking about you a lot. And are you like me? Do you need some connection? We've all been through a lot these last few years, and I want to do my part to help people reconnect and heal. I'm hosting a simple gathering on blank date, time, place. We will be doing set activity and doing relaxing hand massages. I'll share for a few minutes about how essential oils and plant-based supplements have helped us get through the last 2 years. Would you be open to joining us? And then wait, right? So you're not going to leave this as a voicemail. You're going to connect with them personally when doing this script, but it will work. Script number 2, say that you want to invite for a personal Aromatouch session. It goes like this. Have you noticed how many people seem to be carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders? Let's face it, there's been a lot to absorb and process lately. I learned a new technique that I'm super excited to try on some of my friends because I've experienced how powerful it is in relieving some of the weight and stress. I have X number of openings next week. If you or someone you know and love could use a little spa-like treatment, message me ASAP if you want one of those spots. Now, this can be a private message, should be a private message. It can also be a public post, but it's going to be most effective one-to-one. Now, another idea for another event is an Aromatouch Immersion evening. This is going to be giving them the full experience. What you need to do, just choose a venue, choose a date, invite everyone, starting with your sharers and builders because you want them to be able to invite people too, and including family, friends, and colleagues as well. You want to create an incentive for bringing a friend. You want people to bring people, right? Now, you may have a maximum of 6 people able to come or 8 people, whatever your space can hold. But one example of an incentive is that you could do a $10 cover fee to help provide, help cover the cost of your space or the oils, but that they could bring a friend for free, right? So suddenly it's something sweet for their friend. You're definitely going to want to do connection texts and email reminders, and host an awesome event. So here is an opportunity to screenshot. I'm not going to take your time explaining how this is going to work, but really you're just wanting to connect, welcome people, orient them. This can be a subtle, not so subtle intro class, right? You just keep it super short and sweet, maybe 20 minutes. And you can introduce the idea of the Aromatouch Enrollment Kit and how they can get the online training here too. Then partner A and partner B are going to provide each other with sessions. The key here is that there's going to be a short sharing circle at the end. You really want people to articulate themselves, how they feel and what they learned, and why they're excited about these oils. Why? Because then they're selling themselves on the power of the oils and that they want to experience more of this. So invite them to get started with the kit, follow up with the wellness consult, whatever is appropriate for them. Now, if you're like, wow, I don't know if I can do this. Wow, I've been a bit rusty. I haven't hosted an event in a while or the like. That's okay. Confidence comes through taking action. So let's get into action, shall we? Here's some action steps for you. Number 1, you're going to order your Aromatouch kit and time block when you'll review the Aromatouch training. If it's successive scheduled, so let's get on the schedule. 2, you're going to invite 5 people to receive the Aromatouch technique sessions from you personally. 3, you're going to ask 5 people to host a stress relief spa party, and you're going to provide Aromatouch hand technique sessions there. 4, set the dates with those who say yes. Have you ever been like me and you got somebody who says, yeah, I'll host for you, and then you never get it on the books? That's a pretty epic fail. The fortune's in the follow through, so let's get these things scheduled. 5, book time to follow up, inviting, preparing for your new event. And as a fun bonus here, you can even ask your upline to sponsor you with raffle prizes for your party as gifts for those who bring a friend. Now, if you're like, wow, I don't feel like I have people to invite or ask to host, it's time to network. So choose 3 places to contact and ask if you can come give them and their staff or volunteers 10-minute hand Aromatouch sessions. It's really essential to create a clear goal and know what you're working on, right? So I just want to give a quick example here from a business perspective. Say that you're just starting out in this business and you want to get to Doterra Director for the first time, and you want to start earning your Power of 3 $50 a month bonus. The Aromatouch technique can be your recipe for getting there. It's simple, it's duplicatable. So currently, say it's just you ordering, you'd need 800 more volume for Director, 400 team volume for your Power of 3 bonus. You'll need to enroll people who will adopt the lifestyle and go on LRP. How will they do that? They'll have an experience, right? That really makes them go, wow, oils can have an impact in my life. So say that you help them get started with the Aromatouch Training Kit. That's 250 PV each. If you were to have 4 new enrollments with this kit, you would get to Director and beyond. And as you support your new members in giving their loved ones Aromatouch sessions and learning more about the oils, you'll invite them for continuing ed, you'll establish a wish list for them, you'll help replenish their oils and get them on LRP, building out your Power of 3 at the same time. Make sense? Now, say you're a little further ahead. Say you've already been doing this for a little bit and you're an elite and you want to grow to premier and get the empowerment bonus. You currently consistently have 3,000 to 3,500 OV a month. You need 1,500 to 2,000 more. Here's the cool thing. With the Aromatouch Kit being that even 250 PV, you only need 6 to 8 new enrollments on your team with this kit and you'll get to premier. So say you have 4 personal enrollments and sharers help bring in 2 more, you're there. Clarifying where you are and setting clear goals will help you make this business profitable. I know sometimes I hear people say, wow, I've been doing Doterra for X length of time, myself included sometimes, and like, where's my check? Why isn't this bigger? Well, are you building in a strategic way? Turns out we can incentivize and fill in the gaps here. So say in this example of a 250 power of 3 bonus, if you haven't learned about this yet, don't worry, just go to your upline and be like, hey, how do I earn that $250 a month? They'll show you. Because here's the thing, here's your imaginary structure here. I'm sure somebody on the team has it. These purple bubbles are established wellness advocates, the green are customers, and the white ones are our holes that we need to fill in. In this case, if you bring in 5 key people committed to where they're doing 150 PV per month order, you'll get your $250 a month bonus. So the real question is, what incentive can you offer that will be too good to pass up? Well, one example that I heard while at Dr. Hill's presentation was to create your own Founders Club spots. This is for an Aromatouch Founders Club. Note that this is a program that you create. You get to promote it as something very special. In this example, you have 5 spots, right? So there's only 5 spots for this. And to claim a spot, they must 1, enroll with 150 plus PV order. For example, the Aromatouch kit would work. And then 2, they commit to 150 per month LRP order. So you're helping them get on the supplements, you're helping them order the Deep Blue Rub, the Copaiba capsules, the adaptive capsules, whatever it is they need to be well. And what is the reward? The first 5 people who claim these spots, commit to their orders and follow through, will receive a free Aromatouch session from you at a certain interval of time for a certain duration. For example, the first 5 members who enroll plus maintain their 150 loyalty rewards order will win a year's worth of free monthly Aromatouch sessions from me. The one caveat I have here is make sure you really think through what do you have the capacity to give and what are you going to feel good about. Because if you make the commitment, you need to follow through, right? That being said, here you're basically committing to use their own oils on them on a monthly basis, connecting, loving on your people, relating with your people, and helping them feel great. So if you're like, wow, okay, where do I meet these people? How do I grow my business? I want you to keep in mind that people buy from those they know, like, and trust. So at the end of the day, it comes down to knowing more people. This is a place, this is a list of places you can meet people and provide hand techniques for the Aromatouch. Again, this takes 10 minutes and you can really connect with people and invite them to something more. So you might do in-home classes or spa parties, fundraisers, nursing homes, teacher appreciation events, yarn stores, farmers markets. There's sky's the limit. I really want to hear from you. We'll start a thread over on Visionary as to where you're going to get out there and do some hand techniques and meet some people. I also want to acknowledge that success is doing what I said I would do when I said I would do it. This is that whole aspect of being impeccable to our word. And I know it can be tough, right? Life happens, distractions happen. That being said, if you want to ace it in this business and have all your effort and energy count, follow up. Do what you said you would do when you said you would do it, and you will be successful. And most importantly, give from your heart. People will feel it. So, a few last thoughts here. It's okay to get your team engaged too, right? So you can leverage Doterra's incentives. Again, we've given an idea of these host rewards that are now through June. You can also create your own incentives. In fact, what I'm going to be doing is hosting a beach retreat. July 30th to 31st, I'm hosting an exclusive overnight retreat where people can earn a spot to come stay at the beach with me. And the way they earn their spot is they'll bring 5 people, 5 separate households to Aromatouch events with me, or they can personally enroll 2 people with over 100 PV order. This is to be like, oh, right, small, tangible goals to help get them into action. And I'll have the pleasure of their company at the beach. So Aisha already mentioned at the beginning of the call, but we do want to make sure that you have this on your calendar. Mark your calendar if you have not yet signed up. The Aromatouch technique is being presented as the topic for the Empowered Success call this coming Monday. It'll be 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on May 2nd. And it is with Dr. David Hill, as well as Justin Harrison, Brooke, and Megan and such. And they're just going to totally ace it, really giving you kind of a refresher of some of this information, and you'll hear straight from the source as well. There truly is nothing like learning straight from the source. So if you're into the science, if you're into learning like from the people who develop these techniques, from the farmers, from the growers, all of that, do also plan on coming to all of Doterra's corporate events. It is worth it. Sure, Sandra and I drove 5.5 hours each way up to Bellingham, but it was worth it, even just for the 2.5-hour event, to take it in and internalize this information and the energy of it. So I hope this speaks to you all. It's been such fun to get to hang out with you today. And I would love to hear, we are at 11, but we do have a few questions, I think. So Virginia, your hand's up, dear.
Yes, just a real quick question. The first Monday events, are those recorded? Because I've got other commitments on Monday nights. They are. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how easy is it to get to where the recording would be? Where would I find that?
I recommend that you still register for the event, and then I believe they send the recording out, and it's also on Justin's website, but I'm forgetting. Does anybody know that link off the top of their head for Justin's website?
I have that one. Thank you for the reminder. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
they're right there. Yes, thank you, justinswebinars.com. How can I forget that? I knew it was something like that. Any other questions? That was fantastic and so inspiring, Lindsay. And I do want to say that there are several leaders in Doterra that have built themselves to diamond and beyond by just simply sharing this Aromatouch technique. So if you feel like you need some new inspiration in your business, by all means, this is really something to dive into. And I think the time is really perfect right now because, as Lindsay said, people are really craving connection. And I love that founder's idea. Think about what you can pay to have a professional massage, right? And so if you create your own founders club where somebody's getting a regular treatment, just imagine your opportunity to connect for your wellness consults, for them to really get a better and deeper understanding of the oil and to use that as momentum to build your business. I absolutely love that. There was a question, Lindsay, about the video you suggested playing from Brandon. There was a question about what that video was about. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I was just saying that is a good question. It was featured at Dr. Hill's presentation, and that particular slide was actually a screenshot from how Brooke teaches her class rather than one that I've done myself just yet. So I will need to go digging for that video for myself as well. But I do believe it's on YouTube.
Okay, and then I just have a really quick last couple of announcements, and then we will wrap this up. Let me, oops, hold on here. So if anybody would like to participate in the Diamond Club program, please reach out to your upline and/or reach out to myself, to Dr. Josie or Aaron, and let us know, and we can talk with you more about that, and then we can actually submit you. And we would love, love, love to support you. So even if you just want to explore, have a conversation, you're thinking about it, you're feeling that little nudge in your soul and your heart to jump in, by all means, reach out and let's have a conversation about that. And then who is part of the launch day workshop? I have to admit, unfortunately, I was not able to join, but I heard it was a huge success. Did you all love it?
It was so great.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay. Good, good, good. So the next one is going to be on June 25th from 11 to 2. You can take a screenshot here. So please invite sharers, builders, come yourself, work together with the team to really get momentum going in your business. We are really low on time, so I'm not going to read the testimonials here, but if you want to watch the recording, we do have it posted and it's on YouTube, and I have the link there on the screen. So Lindsay, again, thank you. That was fantastic. So inspiring. I know you put a lot of time and energy into creating that presentation. So thank you from all of us for sharing. This really is a team effort, and we really love learning from all of you. Thank you all so much for joining us. We hope you have a fabulous day and look forward to connecting with you all again soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great one. It's always a pleasure to connect and get to give back.
Bye-bye.